All aboard the conspiracy train. Next stop, Vince Foster's grave. Why does it seem like everybody that has had something to do with the Clintons, when it comes to any kind of nefarious dealings or anything involving a little bit of controversy, why do they always seem to wind up dead? So today we're going to be visiting the grave of former White House Deputy Counsel Vince Foster. If you were interested in politics in the early 90s, you probably remember that name because he was one of the most famous men in the country for at least a month or two. So right now I'm in Hope, Arkansas, and this was where Vince Foster was born. And he and Bill Clinton were childhood friends. And as Clinton got older, became the governor of Arkansas, and Vince Foster, who was an attorney, started working up his way in the ranks of who's who in Arkansas politics. Eventually, Bill Clinton was elected president of the United States of America. He wasn't in the White House any more than 8 months when he already got his first controversy. Some of you out there will remember Travelgate. That was pretty major, huh? Travelgate, ooh. So basically, Travelgate was something to do with the White House Travel Office. See, this is how it works. The White House Travel Office is an office where probably 7 or 8 people work, and they're responsible for making travel arrangements for all of the White House press corps. Now, if you work for the travel office, regardless of your political affiliation, if you worked in the travel office during the Nixon administration and the next president comes in, they're probably not going to fire you. You basically keep your job until you retire. And then once you retire, whoever's the president, they find somebody else to replace you. That's normally how it works. But when the Clintons came in, they ended up, I believe they practically fired the entire White House Travel Office, which is unheard of. It's one thing to fire one person, and like I said, that doesn't really happen, but to fire damn near an entire staff, something's weird about that. And that's exactly what they did, because the Clintons wanted their own people in the White House. They probably owe quite a bit of favors to many, many people. So when the Clintons fired everybody, or practically everybody, that created a lot of controversy, especially being that Clinton, even though he was a popular president, he wasn't really popular with the Senate, which I believe it was Republican controlled at the time. So they wanted to make a big fuss about it because he was a Democrat. It's kind of how it works in American politics. So at the time, Vince Foster, who was working for the Clintons for the White House as basically his attorney, he's wrapped up into this controversy. Now, you might not think that it's such a big deal, but Vince Foster was already probably a fragile man. He had told some of his confidants that he had regretted coming to Washington, D.C. He was firsthand, he's seen with his own eyes what politics does to somebody, how it just chews you up, spits you out, and they'll drag your name in the mud, and they don't care about you, they don't care about your family, they will do whatever it takes to ruin and destroy your life. And it's probably a a man who is from a small town in Arkansas who goes to the big city and he realizes that politics can be a deadly game. So because of this controversy and maybe him feeling that he was going to be a failure if he quit his job and came back to Arkansas, maybe he didn't want to do that. So on July 20th, 1993, Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park, which is just right outside of DC, but in Virginia. He died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His gun was lying right beside him. I think it was actually right still in his hand. And he had left a note. And he went out his own way. This is the grave of Vincent Foster. And the conspiracy theorists continue with the motive that he didn't die by his own hand. Maybe the Clintons somehow helped him to find his way here where I stand. Not a super controversial story, but conspiracy theorists made it controversial. And the Clintons, they have their hands in a lot of pots, let's just say. And I'm going to end the video like this. Rest in peace to Vincent Foster. And I want to let everybody know out there that I am making this video on my own free will. And I am feeling just fine. I do not want to hurt myself. I don't want to do anything like that. I love my life. I want to live as long as I can. And if anything ever happens to me, no matter what it looks like, it's not what it looks like. Okay, guys. Fascinating graveyard. Thank you for watching the video. I am moving on, going north, or maybe I'm going south, or maybe I won't tell you where I'm going. Maybe I'll just disappear for a while. Politics can be a very, very deadly game. I'll catch up with you later. Peace out.